Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes, and it's brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. If we ever do get a winter storm in the east, head over to Omni. They are Long Island's largest rock salt source, and everything else you need, from snow and ice melt products to snow blowers, spreaders, shovels, batteries, flashlights, all you need to get you through the rest of this winter for winter storms and maybe even non-winter storms. 631-756-1125. The phone number, the website is omnitruevalue.com. And we have a lot going on. We're going to start with the West because we have been talking about these endless storms that one after another just continue to barrel into the western part of the United States. And here's the latest one that is bringing heavy rains. Now, we're talking rainfall rates here in the valleys of a half to three quarters of an inch per hour, and in the mountains, rainfall rates of well over an inch per hour. And we are talking about hours and hours of this. And while there have been short day or day and a half breaks in between storms, the next one comes along. And what's interesting here is what's going on offshore. There is a second system behind it, and you see a lot of thunderstorm activity. Very unusual to see these thunderstorms rolling across the Pacific with that energy. There is yet another powerhouse, by the way, right behind that one to the west of it, and that's going to follow. So it's just this, as I said, this endless parade. And we have a couple of interesting things that we normally don't get to see. For one thing, we have the Storm Prediction Center showing a marginal risk of severe weather along the California coast, the areas north of LA up past San Francisco, and that comes with a 2% tornado risk. I don't know that I've ever remember seeing a 2% tornado risk indicated in San Francisco. I'm sure it's happened before. I just can't recall in my memory. And that risk area continues tomorrow in coastal and into Southern California, all the way down from just south of San Francisco, all the way down to San Diego. We have a marginal risk of 2% of severe weather and a 2% tornado risk. Again, very, very unusual. And with respect to the rainfall, just going back to that. This is through Tuesday. The Weather Prediction Center has a moderate risk of flash flooding throughout much of the state of California, from the central part of the state down into Southern California, particularly in the inland mountains and valleys. It looks to be a big deal. And as we go to the next day, this is day 2, so Tuesday into Wednesday, anywhere from a marginal risk in the north to a moderate risk in the south. And then Wednesday into Thursday, the risk is confined to the northwestern part of California. So if you're thinking that the weather is strange all over the country, it really is. There's an absolute absence of cold air just about everywhere. And while we get these intrusions of cold air to come in every so often, they don't even bring the temperatures back down to near average. Most of the northern hemisphere is experiencing this kind of weather in this. I guess we can just keep calling it a non-winter winter. Meanwhile, here in the east, it's been relatively quiet. We had a weak system move offshore. With all the strength in the Pacific, the Atlantic side, these storms have been on the weak side. We're at least enjoying sunshine from Maine down to Florida today. There are clouds back in parts of upstate New York and also in parts of Ohio and eastern Kentucky and Tennessee. But they're not really doing very much. And then, of course, you see all that moisture coming into the west and a ton of rain now on the radar as of 1 p.m. Eastern time, covering much of California. You see the green boxes there. It's all flash flood warnings. And in the east, radars are pretty quiet up and down from Maine to Florida. Now, as far as snowfall is concerned, it has been, let's see if I still got the map up. I should load here in a moment. It's still all in the western part of the United States over the next 72 hours, where we have a relatively large area where the probability of at least 2 inches is 50% or higher, and we've got the scattered areas of 8 inches or higher, especially in the Sierra Nevadas. So again, weather is rather strange the way it's been this month of January so far. So going forward for this week, again, storm after storm coming into the west. The latest one in now. The rains will be tapering off and ending tonight, but it'll be a really short break because more rain is coming in by morning and more heavy snow in the mountains there. Meanwhile, in the east, we are nice for Tuesday, Wednesday, and for Thursday. Now, some of that California energy comes in. We get a storm moving through the central plains, heading up into the western parts of the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. I don't think we're going to have any issues with this until we get to Friday, when we'll probably have some rain ahead of a cold front that'll be coming through. That front's going to pass Friday during the day, stall just to the east, and then we're going to watch a wave develop later Friday near North Carolina and move northward. That'll cause the rain to continue probably Friday night into the very first part of Saturday morning, and then weather conditions will improve after that, and it will turn colder, but again, barely temperatures that will get back down to near normal. But it does look like the holiday weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, will be dry and relatively nice and easy to handle, at least here in the eastern states. Not so the case in the West. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. So we're going to leave you here with the satellite loop of the West, the Pacific, as these storms continue to roll into the West Coast. The Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight will cover all of this. Also going to talk about one of the strangest run of weather models that I've seen in a long, long time. We'll be discussing that and whatever implications it may or may not have for the long range. That's coming up tonight at 7:35 Eastern Time, so we'll see you then.